seconds per mile.
Happy Saturday, guys. It's November 2nd, Saturday evening. I'm on my diabetes walk for blood sugar control. Guys, I tell you, it's such a great night to be able to be walking, guys. I'm here in South Florida. Did you see that Miami Hurricanes game? I digress. But, uh, I've come such a I've come such a long way. I, I can't believe it. From having osteomyelitis, what, 4 times, being on the pick line so many times. Do you know how aggravating that is? And it got to the point where they just shipped the box to my house, and I put the bag in my arms myself, and just hours, two different antibiotics. You know, just like I think it was like 3.5 hours in total. An hour and a half with one, an hour with another. Oh, God, I've come such a long way, and what changed everything, guys? Not a balanced diet. Okay, what changed everything? Because at one time I had my podiatrist told me, Mr. Rogers, because my neurologist kept urging me, Mr. Rogers, you got to get moving. You got to get moving. My podiatrist kept saying, Mr. Rogers, even going to the restroom, you risk amputation. So, but so I was eating as low carb a diet as I could on insulin, metformin, and Jardiance. Yet I kept getting infections, kept getting osteomyelitis, and so that cycle was just repeating, and and my and my neuropathy was getting worse. I was starting to get my motor neurons were starting to be affected, getting paralytic symptoms. Um, oh, my legs feeling like spaghetti, couldn't move them. Had to lift them up with my arms. Very scary stuff, guys. Very scary stuff. My neuropathy went. It was going beyond regular neuropathy. Um, it's crazy. So, came across other information. So, what began to change for me, okay, because my neurologist said, Mr. Rogers, you're gonna have to start moving. The more you do, the more you'll be able to do. My podiatrist said, Mr. Rogers, exercise for you could lead to amputation. So, on my own, I started following. I started coming in contact with more of the keto diet, and once I found the keto diet, my body began to stabilize, but only the blood sugar stabilized, and I was in range for a long time. The blood sugar stabilized, and the infection slowed down. The intervals between the infections slowed down. It never completely stopped. So I got a severe bout of osteomyelitis at the beginning of this year, along with retinopathy, and my liver's going out of range, and my A1C going out of range at the same time. So my keto diet for the last 5 years had held everything in check, and it, it, all of a sudden, these new symptoms, the retinopathy, the liver. and a new bout of osteomyelitis hit me, and my A1C just started to edge up. All of a sudden, it went up to an 8, and my neurologist said, "You know what?" Oh, and then I started getting worse and worse neuropathy symptoms, and I started getting these paralytic episodes. And my neurologist said, "You need to inform your endocrinologist that you need to have you need a change. You need to have assistance in forming some different medication or something." So I already knew you couldn't change what I was eating. I was on the keto diet. It was holding my blood sugar in hand very effectively for a while. And all of a sudden, it started to lose control. And then I was like, well, I can't do any more insulin. I'm already on insulin. You can't. I'm already taking metformin. I'm already taking Jardiance. So I came across Ozempic. And let me tell you, when they added Ozempic to my keto diet, it was like a miracle. My A1C dropped from 8 to 4.9 without any lows. My retinopathy cleared up. My liver numbers cleared up, and I dropped 65 pounds within 1 month. My next appointment with every doctor, they almost fell out their chairs. And it was like, "Mr. Rogers, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it." I no longer had to take metformin, no longer had to take Jardiance, no longer had to take anything but the Ozempic and my keto diet. And so what I do now, I have a meal zone between 12 and 4. I walk in the mornings, I walk in the evenings, and everything is perfect. My wet and not liver numbers cleared up. My feet on my next podiatrist appointment, my after I started Ozempic with my and added it to my keto diet, my podiatrist said, "Mr. Rogers, I don't know what's going on with your feet, but they look great. You can start walking now." I mean, it was like a miracle. Now, one thing in all of this, I've never had any bad kidneys, miraculously, but I tell you, with the keto diet and Ozempic, for me, this is for me, it was like it revitalized my entire body. So now I'm on a keto lifestyle, and I'm on, and I take Ozempic as my diabetes medication of choice, and I take metformin. I have stopped taking metformin, but I take metformin more of a because everybody in my family have dementia, right? So I came across a couple of studies where it's two things that diabetics and of my age could suffer from, and men of my age in general could suffer from. It's muscle wasting, that it could possibly help you with. It could help you with preventing dementia-like symptoms, and so that's what I'm using it for, and on my own. Once I read that study, so that's what I'm doing it for. It's just my choice. It's from my understanding. It's not no doctor's advice. No doctor. You got to talk to your doctor. But for me, and longevity studies saying that diabetics who use metformin and people who use metformin overall tend to live longer. So I'm just taking metformin. I was already prescribed to, but once I got Ozempic, I didn't need to take it, and but I started taking it again. But just the Ozempic and the keto diet alone managed me so well. But I'm telling you, it was like a miracle for me that everything went in line. Oh my God. Do you know, like, I used to get infections so much. I just, I just even with diabetic shoes, I was getting bruising and infections. No matter what diabetic shoe they gave me, but now it's like the Ozempic and the keto diet really have affected every diabetic process in my body. It changed everything. So I'm feeling good. My energy levels are good. I feel stronger. Um, and also I added creatine is what I added to help with muscle to maintain muscle and build muscle. You know, because as we tend to lose muscle once we pass that 50 age. So I'm taking creatine. You know, not for medical advice, but for my own personal use to prevent muscle loss, and that also help with um, cognitive issues as well. So that's where I'm at, guys. I've been so low with diabetes. I was so low that I had to look down to look up. I was so low. That's an old school saying. But I was really down, beaten down with diabetes. But with my own research, I found keto, and it really I found keto was the beginning, and with Ozempic for me, those two together was the one-two punch that I needed to knock diabetes out. Because those two, that was it. Because keto by itself only controlled my blood sugar, but with the Ozempic, it cleared my eyes up, it cleared my liver up. I dropped the 65 pounds. My infections in my foot, the bone infections, because I had osteomyelitis 4 times, threatened each time with surgical options, with amputation. All of that, surgical amputations, all of that, that stopped. So together, all the diabetic processes ended. So for me, from what I was told as a child, whatever you do to to cure a situation, you have to do to maintain a situation. So that's where I'm at, guys. I hope it helps you or help anyone listening, and so you can avoid what I went through. And if I come across anything new, I will be glad to share it with you, because this is what this is all about, so that we all could grow in diabetic health together, up and up to a good future, guys. Thank you so much for following.